Welcome, and this is Sims Langbeg. The topic we'll be talking about today: challenges facing media organizations and journalists in the age of disinformation. And we'll be speaking to two journalists, NC along Lagos Traffic Radio. Let's go into it. My first question is: how has the rise of disinformation impacted journalism and media organizations in Nigeria?
You see, the rise of social media, are you getting it, has made information dissemination a lot easier. But then, most social media users do not verify information before they post it on air, before they use it. Then more importantly, some of them want large followership. So, and they believe that sensationalization is the way to get it. So take, for instance, an accident happens and one person dies. They will come and write, accident happens, 500 people dead, so that people will follow them more. I hope you are getting my point.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you now ask, did an accident happen? Yes, it did. The number of casualties that were there, they have increased it. Misinformation. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So whereas they will give you half-truth, and in order to have more followers, so, and some of them in the bid to break the news, they don't verify the authenticity of the news that they have. They just go on air, bam, and slam it there without verification of what truly is happening.
Okay.
Hope you get my point.
What would you define as like fake news in general? Like, what is fake news?
Fake news is a news that is not true. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Any report you hear that is not true is fake.
Okay. Yes.
A news must have a source. It must pass through a channel before you get it. And it must be authentic. It must be verifiable. In fact, you must be able to verify that report, the news. But if you are not able to verify it, or your verification turns out to be negative, does not conform with the information you got, then the news is fake.
Okay, so what are the most common types of disinformation seen in Nigeria, and how do they affect the society?
Like I told you, assuming two communities have intercommunal clashes, are you getting it? Yes. And you now come and say, Igbo community versus one other community, 500 people have been killed. This. Yes, there might be communal clashes actually due to probably land tussle and all that. But then the number of casualties that were stated is very wrong.
How does social media amplify the spread of disinformation in the Nigerian context?
You get a message from a social media handle. It's not verified. People just begin to share randomly. You get it without verification.
Yes, sir.
Not even knowing whether the site you got it from is authentic or not. People will just begin to click on it. Did you see this thing on YouTube? I got it. You got it on Facebook. Where I begin? They just begin to spread it. And Nigerians being whom we are, we don't verify reports. We just see it and begin to spread it that way.
Which solution would you prefer that things should be done so that disinformation and all will not be spreading like that?
There should be verification before you spread any information. Verify the authenticity of the information you've gotten. Verify, is the site you are getting it from, the address you are getting it from, is it right? Is it the correct one? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So that once you have verified all those, before you can now know, this information is authentic and can be shared.
So what method or tools are commonly used by Nigerian media to fact check news?
You can go to fact checking. What's the name of this site? There's this place that we normally use to verify whether reports are genuine or not, so that you don't need to put them on. I hope you get my point.
Yes.
I'm trying to think about the name of these platforms that you can use. Fact checker. You get?
Yes.
You can use fact checker, and there's this other one again. In fact, I did a training with them at some point in time. I forgot it. I can't really remember the name, but most likely I'll remember and I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any collaborative efforts between Nigerian media outlets to combat defamation? Are there collaborative efforts between maybe all these fact-checking and verification of news organizations and Nigerian media outlets to combat disinformation?
Yes, there are, because they organize trainings. And most stations send their staff there for training, that they just don't begin to misinform people and cause chaos and crisis in the country.
What steps can journalists and media organizations in Nigeria take to better combat disinformation in the future?
Well, the first thing should be training and retraining. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Then regulatory agencies and regulatory policies should be implemented and monitored. Once you have sent a wrong information, there should be sanctions for you. Once sanctions are there and one or two people have faced the sanctions for the misinformation they spread, then there will be a stop to the spread of information.
So, how do you see the role of journalism evolving in Nigeria as disinformation becomes more sophisticated?
Journalism practice is a very, very lofty one. It's a very, very good one. It's one that, because knowledge is something that should be acquired. Once you don't have knowledge, ignorance is not an excuse in law. So you must have knowledge of what is happening around you. Are you getting it? And how do you gain knowledge? It is by going to school for training, go to school, acquire the normal process of training, the education you are supposed to acquire. Then further enrich yourself by going for other trainings.
Yes. So, how do Nigerian government policies and regulation affect efforts to combat disinformation? Like NCA now. I remember during COVID, they were trying to give news on the amount of people it has affected, people that were dying and all. How do you think the government policies and regulation affect efforts to combat disinformation? Because during that time, plenty rumors were spreading that is a lie, that they're just doing it to just keep us at home. How do you think the government policies and regulation affected such things of what people were saying during that time?
Ignorance is when something is happening and you feel because it has not happened to you, then it is not happening. Then the fact that we are in the climate around here is not that cold. Are you getting it? So we feel, and when COVID came, it came during the Harmattan, so we felt, it's Harmattan, don't mind them. But you see, National Disease Control Center updates Nigerians on a daily basis of the number of people that have contracted COVID, the number that are in the hospital, the number of casualties that were recorded. You get my point? So what the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission and other regulatory agencies to equally ensure that no media house misinform people. Whereas because some people do not believe in it, they felt there's nothing like COVID that you don't mind them. They just want to create an avenue for themselves to make money. But you see, stations like NTA and other reputable stations informed the people that yes, there is COVID, and even it has claimed some casualties. Take for instance, the chief chief of staff to the president died of COVID, and so many other reputable people like that. Now, the ignorant people, because they don't have money and the COVID happened to them, and the person died. They feel like normal death is time. It is this time. Don't mind them. It's not COVID. You get it. But regulatory agencies are seriously trying. Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria and other regulatory agencies are trying, enforcing the rules and regulations as they should be.
During these last elections, there were rumors that they were saying that Tinubu bought people. Tinubu did this one. That they were saying that it was corrupt. That the results were not real. How did media outlets get rid of the rubbish they were saying, like false information that they were spreading all around? How did they go about it, and was it really helpful?
The process of results collation during an election is very simple. From each polling unit, results are gathered, taken to the local government collation center. From the various local government collation centers, it is now brought to the INEC office, the state office. That is for state election. Now, if it's the presidency will now move from each state collation center to the national. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So, yes, there were insinuations that there was vote buying. There were vote buying and all that. But then for the issues of the results, it was results that were collected from various polling units that were taken to the collation centers, from there to the local government collation centers, from there to the state collation centers. And incidentally, I was the one who went on behalf of NTA in Kwara State then to the state collation center. And all the processes were free and fair as I monitored.
So are you trying to say what they were saying was a lie? It's not true. He won the election free and fair.
He won the election free and fair.
Okay.
Even look at this statistically. Peter Obi, do you think Peter Obi would have won in Oyo State?
Nah, not at all.
And like that for so many other states. Yes, the youths were saying, Obi, Kererenche. How many of them had voter cards? How many of them went to vote? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So when you collate it in all sincerity and honesty, yes, whereas that somebody told you that I'm going to vote for Obi, does not mean that the person eventually voted for you. You get? That I say I will vote for Atiku does not mean that I eventually voted for Atiku. Are you getting my point? Then there are votes that were invalid. If, for instance, you want to thumbprint for LP and you now thumbprinted and your thumbprint touched into another bar of another political party, that vote is invalid.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So many issues are there that need to be considered before you go now come and say, this person cheated, this person did not win. Yes, you might say there were election frauds. Yes, one cannot overrule that in all entirety. But then, the person with the highest number of votes was declared the winner.
Okay. So what's your advice for an upcoming journalist like me? What would be your advice on how I would be able to stop disinformation and fake news and all?
Training and retraining at all times. Then go to verified platforms for your information. Don't just stumble on any platform that is just there that is not authentic. And after you have gotten your information, go and fact check again. Are you getting it? Don't just sit somewhere and listen to ESA because some people are seated somewhere, they tell you something, you feel, that's the correct thing. In fact, we were there when they were saying it, the thing, that's the way it is. That might just be their own opinion. You get my point? So training, retraining, and fact-checking is the best way to stop the spread of fake news.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
My first question is, what is fake news?
Fake news is something that is a news that is not true. that is not factual, that is not correct.
The next question is, how do ethical standards guide Nigerian journalists when reporting in environments prone to information?
Well, let me just answer your question this way. These days, we have so many people who call themselves journalists who are actually not journalists. You know, with the proliferation of the online media, we have so many people online these days, dishing out information that are not correct. So, making ethical standards their last choice, not even following it at all. So we have them. For journalists, they are really trained. They are taught how to go about our duty, our profession, with all the ethics, and guidelines given. But in the real sense of it, most times we don't even follow it because of so many factors. Number one, we have self-censorship. There are different interests. Employers' interests. For instance, people working in a government organization, you can't expect them to be totally, to be, in tandem with these ethics totally. But at least we strive to do that. And I'll go back to those online. They don't even have the training. Talk less of knowing what ethical standards, have.
What role does audience education play in reducing the spread of disinformation in Nigeria?
Okay. It plays a huge role because when you are informed, then you will know better. When the audience is well educated, it will do the society a lot of good. For instance, I tell people, when we have more journalists, trained ones, come online, it will reduce this disinformation. And when people know that we have so many trained journalists having their own websites, news websites, and all of that, they will know who and who to follow and who to believe, not bloggers. Because I always tell people that bloggers are not journalists. Bloggers are just a group of people that, just sit, businessmen who just sit at the comfort of their homes and just think about something that is not true and dish it out to the public. And don't forget that anything negative spreads faster than even the authentic news.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
So
when we have more trained journalists come online, then people will tend to, believe us more, and there will be less disinformation.
Okay. So that means you're trying to say bloggers are not like real journalists at all. They are just people
Bloggers are not journalists at all. They are not trained
at all. So they're just doing it.
It's a kind of, what they do is a kind of soft sell. They do that just to make money. But journalists, the trained ones, want to tell you the fact. They want you to know what is happening. Exactly. Bloggers don't go for assignments. They don't cover anything. If you say any serious organization, they will not even call any online blogger to come and cover the tweets. When we have trained journalists who can do that, both conventional radio, TV, we have the print, and also those online in all categories.
Okay. With the advent of AI and deepfake technology, how can Nigerian media prepare the next generation of disinformation?
Whether we like it or not, AI has come to stay. And even trained journalists are making use of it to do their jobs because it makes it easier. Actually, I don't belong to the school of thought that it should, be solely relied on. But you can use it, apply it, and still, rework or rejig whatever AI is giving you. But it's like what we are doing now most times is the tech world. It's tech driven innovation. So there's no how we can take that away. Don't forget that online media too came as a result of technology because people leverage it to pass information to the people. In fact, how many years back? Like about 25 years back, there was nothing like tech that like that. But with the advent of so many, even the phones we're using is a tool, journalists. So there's no how we can separate that from our daily duties.
Okay. But the thing is that now people want quick news. And like all this like breaking news so that they can see it fast. So due to that, do you think disinformation or like fake news will keep increasing? Because it takes time to publish news because you have to wait for approval and all of that before you now edit it and like post it. But all these like mere road people that call themselves I'm a journalist or I report news just upload nonsense without verifying. So what change can like media organizations do concerning that?
Okay, this is the way I will answer this. In the quest of breaking news or saying just thing, it's always not the best to break a news that you have not verified as a trained journalist. We want to quickly inform people. They want to hear the news, but they should hear the facts, not something that is not true, not fake news. For instance, if someone told you that something happened somewhere, there are so many search engines that you can use to verify. They call them fact checks that you can use, to verify your source to be sure that what the information you are giving is correct. So you don't just rush to break the news so that you don't eventually become the news. Or you find yourself, being dragged in the court of law. We have this slander and libel issue. So one needs to be extremely careful as a journalist.
How does disinformation affect Nigeria's democratic process, especially during elections?
Okay. For election period, it's normal you have a lot of, disinformation flying around, especially about candidates, about issues but the best is to make use of the media to disseminate correct information, especially about manifesto, about plans of a particular candidate vying for an election, whether it's gubernatorial, whether it's even local gubernatorial, presidential, even this whether it's National Assembly or Houses of Assembly elections. So it's always the best, to make use of the media to ensure that the right messages, are passed across to the electorate, especially the people that, need to cast their votes, to perform their civic duties, so that they will know and will be part of the decision of plans and programs of government for their future.
But
So it is very necessary.
But during the last elections, they were spreading this in that the present president bought people's votes and it was rigged. What was Lagos traffic response about that? Did they do anything to cover the distance to say it was not true, or what exactly did they do?
Yes, of course, we have reporters around town who were given filing in their reports as the C, and none of them reported such on this station.
So, what steps can journalists and media organizations in Nigeria take to better combat disinformation in the future?
Well, like I told you earlier, we want more journalists to come online. Their presence online will, go a long way to help in ensuring that disinformation is tackled in the society. And they also leveraging technology. We know we have all these applications for fact checking and all other ones that journalists can make use of, and also journalists need to desist from rushing to break news, so that correct information passed to the receivers.
So, as an upcoming journalist, what would be your advice for me in trying not to make disinformation go around?
Okay. You are an upcoming journalist, right?
Yeah.
One thing I will first say is for you to have passion for the job, because it's very important. When you like what you are doing, you have passion for it, you pray for the best, and you wouldn't even want to do things that people will not have trust in you. You always want to fact check. You always want to follow the ethics, of the profession, the standard given. And also, if you don't mind, it might not be a job that will give you financial reward like that, but it gives you recognition. It makes you know people, and you can also question activities of government. You will be, the middleman between the government and the government.
Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.